Hello, Internet. Welcome to the new week, new episode with Haffisz and Adi here at Kopitiam Council. Adi, what is the very first thing in this week that we want to talk about? Because I don't see much of international news. I mean, there's always international news, but maybe some of them not really worth of talking about. So what are we going to talk about?
I think if there are definitely flew under the radar for us. I'm sorry to the viewers if they expect the international news, but right now I think just things are picking up, especially here in Sabah. So I think I want to talk about Sabah. There was another protest the other day for Zara Karina, the student who was allegedly bullied and allegedly found dead. And all kinds of manner foul play of the intrigue and all kinds of theories were speculation abound for that. I don't really want to comment too much right now because, it was given instruction that let the investigations go on first, then maybe we will cover that in the future. So regardless, big tragedy happening, and I feel disappointed that it took, I think it was Kota Baru first that pointed out the injustice that is happening, only for then our Sabahan leaders to finally speak up on it much later on. So very disappointed on that front. Regardless, I think I want to talk about something a bit more, I wouldn't say happy news either, but a lot of developments happening, Haffiz, as we gear up for, I think, everyone's most anticipated event here in Sabah, which is the state elections. And, Warisan already announced they're contesting every seat, Hafiz. The end decide that they're going to go out solo. And also we see a newcomer arriving onto the field. And I'm not talking about just the black wave here and all the calon bebas. We already seeing Parti Bumi Kenyalang, Sarawak-based party eyeing for Sabahan seats also. What is going on, Hafiz? What is this election turning out to be? There seems to be a new party, a new face propping up every single month.
Before I comment on that, I just want to say happy birthday to PMX. The day we are recording this is on Monday. His birthday. 78 years old, Adi. Wow. That is just, I think Donald Trump is turning 80 now. So, yep, they are in the same batch. To answer first, I'm going to leave Shafie later on. But the Parti Bumi Kenyang, it's in the name. Adi, it's representing Sarawak, but they mentioned in their press conference that hey, our mascot is the bird. What's the bird again? The
bird
the
bird everyone assumes is Sabahan for some reason.
Yeah, the hornbill bird. And they says like, hornbill is not just in Sarawak, it's in Sabah and in Kalimantan as well. So yeah, we are that universal. So we are Borneo-based party somewhat. So I think I don't buy that because your name is still, Parti Bumi Kenyalang. So that's one thing. And second thing, Adi, like I would like to see who will be fielded as candidates for this, much anticipated newcomers, because it's not from Peninsula as we always gotta expect. Now we have another thing that we should fearmonger Sabahans. No, jangan undi parti Semenanjung. No, jangan undi parti Sarawak. So that's another even more rhetoric you're gonna, especially from Warisan, who rightly so you mentioned they are going to contest in all 73 Adun seats, and of course they are going alone. They are not going with anyone else. So that would be interesting development to see who will be fielded in Parti Bumi Kenyang and also in Warisan as well, because they are slapping 10 million surety bonds, Adi, to those who are going to be frog during the rainy seasons of elections. So, it's just another precaution because they've been hitting quite a lot. I think after the 2020, where some of their senior members actually jumped to the party. So that's a big hit for Warisan, and they're taking precautions on that. What is your take, Adi?
I think let me go through Warisan first, right? Because this is a party that, together with Warisan Plus, which was a coalition with Warisan, PKR, and the AP and UPCO, were able to win
Is
the
that
state
still a
elections.
thing? Is that still a thing, right?
Yeah, I don't know now. Nowadays, it doesn't seem like any coalitions on that front is going to happen. But regardless, is that Warisan was the party that took pole position when it came to the general elections back in 2018. So I think we should give them some credit and pedigree for what they have achieved, right? And they were able to win on the whole. You're not here to build. We're here to build a nation. Rhetoric, right? It was very non-partisan. It was very cosmopolitan kind of image, and it was very, very well received across Sabahans. It took UPCO jumping over from Barisan Nasional over to Warisan to give them that majority regardless. But still, they were able to win that majority through what I can say is typical Sabahan politics, is that after the dust is settled, only then the leaders are truly revealed, right? Um, so we had that kind of experience back in 2018 up until 2020 when the assembly was dissolved because there was no confidence in the Warisan administration anymore. But this was a party that at one point people assumed that Shafi Apdal would have become Borneo's first prime minister, right? There was always this whisper saying that if there's going to be a prime minister or deputy prime minister, first one from Borneo, it would have been him, right? And I think he had the prestige to match as well at the time. He was taking over a position which I think a lot of people attributed Sri Anwar for, right? Very roaring rhetorician, knew the right things to say, very popular in giving talks in very high level events and all that, and threw that all away when just trying to contest over in Malaya. We've talked about this stuff, like we don't want Malayan-based parties over here in Sabah, and here we go, Sabah-based party going to compete and contest in West Malaysia. That doesn't make sense, and I think ever since there it's quite a rough patch for Warisan for quite some time. A lot of the leaders have left. They formed new parties, very high-ranking ones, mind you. And I think them trying to go now at every 73 seats is showing that they have nothing to lose, right? Partition the Sabah did the same thing back in 2020, and I guess it's more so going to be, we want to show that they're still relevant and that I'm going to test the waters in seats that they may not traditionally be popular in, right? I think what's going to happen is that they're going to focus their resources on their incumbent seats that they know they'll win, and they're going to give the bare minimum, they deposit a bit more extra money, just a bit in areas which they are not that popular in, just to test how things go, right? And at least put their stamp and name on it, and to say, it's a great headline, right? Contest in all 73 seats. And who knows, it's like throwing darts, right? If you stick with whatever things land on. So I think that's on Warisan's front. It's just a bold move to see how relevant they still are and to test the waters. And I think at the same time, it helps give them a barometer for when they move into the general elections. Maybe, who knows? It's a test to see how well they can perform at the general election and put themselves more in parliamentary seats, right? As for Barisan Nasional, Ahmad Mazlan and Bung did say 25 to 40 seats and that they will be going solo, right? And I think a lot of people are scoffing at the idea like crazy. Barisan Nasional, UMNO, what are they now, right? But I think we have to bear in mind that I think 25 to 40 is just wishful thinking on that part. I think they're still going to try and retain their incumbent seats because BN UMNO, I think now they're having this identity crisis. They're not exactly following a lot of the directives from the party over in Malaya, but neither are they even following themselves. You've had that split after Langkah Kinabalu, right? And now they are of two minds. They're not a coherent pact right now, a coherent party at all. You have some supporting GRS, some still wants to go there, strike out their own. And I think this is going to be very confusing for voters moving in, especially those that have always had strong loyalties towards UMNO, right? So very confusing. Lastly, I think I would talk about the black wave a bit later, but I think we talked a bit about Parti Bumi Kenyalang. This doesn't come that surprising to me also, Hafiz, because this was mentioned a few months back that they are thinking of trying to come into Sabah. And I believe former KDM member, I forgot his name, said that he's willing as a Sabahan to take up the reins of leadership if the people really want it. So I see it as it's the same. It's weird, like like you said, reject Malayan parties, reject Sarawak parties at the same time as well. Is there going to be a riling up of appetite for that? Because we are in this syndrome right now for Sabahans is that we want to copy everything about Sarawak. We love what's going on in Sarawak. We want exactly the same kind of leadership in Sarawak, right? So I don't know if this PBK is going to be riding on that rhetoric or that kind of sentiment here. But even I think in Sarawak, Parti Bumi Kenyalang is also quite a fringe party in of itself. I don't think they're really that. I don't know. Maybe Sarawakians can tell me more about this party, because I'm just doing it from what I've read so far. Is that it's quite regionalist. It's almost to a point. It's almost like a secessionist party, right? They're very much very nationalist centric, regionally centric, and they would like to see Sarawak be independent. I think this is what I've seen and read the room from, but maybe Sarawakians here can tell me more before I jump to any assumptions and conclusions. But it's just funny to see now everybody is dumping into Sabah. I think Sabah, because we're in that wild west, we're still the wild west of politics in Malaysia. I think in a way, it's everyone wants to strike out their own here. I mean, PAS itself is trying out all kinds of weird strategies and experiments over here. But over to you, Haffiz.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's like Sabah, it's up for grabs. It's for everyone. And as long as you want to come here, willing to come here, and that's, it's fair play for everyone. I just want to go back to Shafi's story a little bit, because he's been going around in just this weekend, in Saturday and Sunday, in Kapayan, starting his campaign, where he says that he would like to abolish PTPT and loans, and will give free educations. Of course, some people might say, like, hey, where's you going to find the money and whatnot? But before I'm going to comment on that. I'm going to comment that this is not the first time, Adi, where he is reaching for his old books and using the same mantra, because in 2018 this is same thing. And sure, his administration was cut short to just 2 years, but even within those 2 years, he could just like pick up the phone and do what he said he wanted to do, but he never did. So I think that's another baggage that I think Shafi should be careful also, because if he wants to start his campaign with all these shiny promises, he surely should be prepared to get bombardment from his rivals, because this is not something new. And just another thing about when he mentioned about how they're gonna fund free education, is that he directly quoted that some of this timber that being granted, he should be channeled through Yayasan Sabah, and Yayasan Sabah should pay for the free educations. I mean, it's 2025. Why are we still talking about timber? Timber should be our very limited, very minimized industry already. Talking about sunset industry, this is midnight industry. I mean, why are we bringing timber industry in the limelight, let alone to use that proceeds to fund free education? I think he, as a former chief minister, should be more innovative in terms of thinking, like, generating more revenue. I mean, last year Sabah's government tabled a 7 billion ringgit budget. I mean, when he wants to do this all abolishing loans and free educations, at what figure are we talking about here? Is it 10 million? Is that something he would like to see? And that extra 3 billion comes from timber? How much timber are we gonna convert into 3 billion ringgit? So I think these are the things that he needs to come to to be more transparent also about, because it's not that easy. I mean, he called himself as economist. Maybe he is by practice, but in the administration, you cannot see yourself as an economist on your own. You have to see as a chief minister, because abolishing loans would not bring monetary benefits. So as economists, you would say this as externalities, negative externalities, and as a chief minister, potential chief minister now in the running, he should be more careful doing all this publicly. And it's not his first time, and I think he is someone that also, I think in 2017 or 2016, were brought upon MACC to deal with some corruption charges. So as pretty much as he is think he is clean and whatnot, but he still has a lot on his hands. And then the biggest one that I can think of is his promise, his new pledge of promise, which is to abolish PTPTN. Just a quick comment on that. What do you think about that, Adi? I mean, on national level, I don't know if it's doable, but maybe Sabah level, is that doable?
I have that one. It will be very difficult to convince. It's a national thing, right? It's a national policy, right? Going up there and then telling them, and then you're going to have to get a vote in. That's going to take a lot of lobbying as well. Then you're going to have to structure in a way that what kind the loans itself, right? What's going to happen to to these loans? Will they just be like the slate clean? Then how else would we finance scholarships, and how else would we finance other students who wants to also be able to take education immediately, right, without having to take a loan? But regardless, I think it's just populism, Hafiz. I think it's just rhetoric on his part, because I think he knows that it's the kind of thing that his supporters would like to hear, and I think this comes in at a more this cuts across a wider issue we have with Sabahan politics here, is that I think most voters are quite set in stone with who they want to support, right? With what kind of party they want to, what kind of personality they want to go for. I don't see Sabah really animated a lot of times by swing voters or new momentum. Say for some very hot seats like the Penampang, KB, KM, these seats are always quite swing in a way. But in a way, a lot of it's also the rest has also been quite settled. Most people have already made up their minds on who they want, or in other cases tuned out from politics. They have that fatigue, and then I don't think they care for a lot of it. So right now, it's not. When you come to see rhetoric, right, it's not about persuading anyone anymore. It's about preserving your existing voter base already and trying to focus more on loyalty, trying to get as much turnout from people that already are on your side, and managing that kind of fatigue. So you have an environment with solid machinery like AMNO, for example, right? They're definitely going to be targeting the people they know will vote for them, and just trying to augment from there, trying to get more momentum from there, rather than actually going out and telling other people that, hey, this is why you should vote for us. I think this is like, so I said for Warisan as well. My prescription, my diagnosis for Warisan is that even though they're going all 73, they're only going to really focus on their core seats, the seats that they know that they can win, that they're very confident in, or seats that they know that in a three-corner fight that they would have an advantage in. So it's if you are moving in the middle, and that splits matters more than ever. So I want to see how the black wave, or let's say the Sabah for Sabahan sentiment, is able to shake up that, in a way, a very fossilized political atmosphere. Is that how much will it shake up? How much do voters want to see their the party that they support, they traditionally support, fight for Sabahans, right? How would they get their parties and the leaders that they support to inculcate these kinds of values and rhetoric? This is the kind of things they want to hear, and how much of it is they want to really commit to it? Because saying things and hearing it is one thing that's very nice, everyone can understand, right? But doing it is a different story. How much of it do people want to hear is rhetoric or solutions, right? I definitely, for people like you and me, Hafiz, we want to see solutions to it as well, right? We know that rhetoric is just words, but action speaks louder than those words. And I think for a lot of people who listen to us here are also of the same mind, I believe, is that rhetoric is not enough. We want to see action, but there are some people who think that rhetoric is enough. Rhetoric is enough to make the impossible possible. And we've seen a lot of our politicians, a lot of political characters are very charismatic in their own right, that they're able to just ride on rhetoric and populism itself. So I think that's a point that we need to also point out, is that, I mean, it's a point we need to confront. We need to understand is that populism, in a way, or populist rhetoric, still holds a lot of sway in a lot of areas. And I think for a lot of politicians, they don't care about really branching out and finding new supporters. They know who's going to like, they know who already likes them. And I think they're very comfortable with that, because as long as that the ones that they have come to with can give them that kind of majority. I think in seats where, like I said, swing seats, like Pampang, Kota Bulut, would be the ones where you see candidates trying to fight for every square inch of voter share.
I mean, talking about rhetoric, Adi, the signaling that I get from Shafi when the first day of his campaign, well, it's not officially a campaign, but he already started doing it, this tour. I think this is more of targeting the. I think Warisan wants to reclaim the cities, the urban seats, because education is as much as is good for everyone, especially the marginalized poor in the rural area. But this is more of bread and butter issue for those who in the cities. These are the, if I may say, the demographic they're targeting is this non Burmese, mainly Chinese, or maybe whatever little Indian that we have in Sabah, and also other non-Burmese. And these are rightly so. They started this in Kapayan. Where else? In the heartland of DAP, where it's one of the highest voters there. So I think they aiming all these urban seats in Nanam as well that are right now Adi in the belong to the seats of either DAP or PKR. So DAP is in the cities, most of the cities, and of course, as we know, Inanam is belong to PKR. So these are the seats that were targeted when what Shafi have in mind when he mentions all this free education, abolish PTPTN, because as we know, if you're non-Bumi, PTPTN loan is one of your tools for you to get funded through your educations, because scholarship might be an issue for you. So these are the issues that I think rightly so targeting one part of demographic, and then he wants to go there. And it's not just in KKID. Will be applicable also in Sandakan, where Sandakan now mostly in the cities, DAP as well, and Tawau as well. So these are the targets that we talk out of the 73. This is for them. Maybe as we moved closer to elections, he would say something for the others. But as for now, he released the shot, and his first shot is targeting these urban voters in Kapayan, mostly in KK, Tawau, Sanakan. So it's very clear from the get-go he wants to go for that. And all this, even Tanjung Aru as well, with Jun Swong and whatnot. So this is a clearly for the right-hand man, or is Moyok. He's number one right-hand man. So this is to secure all the cities' seats that they're looking to reclaim or gain again in the next election. Any last word, Adi?
I think it's shaping up to a very interesting state election, because we have so many parties this time, Haffiz, and the GRS coalition itself already has about 8 parties. Everyone's going to be fighting for their own space there. Pakatan Harapan here in Sabah has about 3 to 4 parties as well. You have the Black Wave, which is full of independent candidates trying to assert themselves. I think it's the best time for them to fight for causes that nobody wants to care about. That's you have nothing to lose, right? Because these are people who are new, fresh faced, they're not bound or to by any kind of party mandate. You have Warisan going all 73. You have now Sarawak coming into the mix. You have Perikatan Nasional party coalition members somehow trying to get another foothold here. Bersatu. I find it funny that PAS is taking the lead on this rather than Bersatu, who has had experience contesting here extensively through their past members as well, who are now GRS, who were once UMNO. It's a funny legacy tree you pointed out if you look at it there. But it's very interesting because there's so many parties here. We have so many people fighting for space. In a way, it's I like to say it like this: it's a great. I don't know if it's to a detriment or to a benefit, because I feel like this is what you call democracy in practice, right? When you have so much choice, you have so much variety, right, for people to choose from. I say that variety is always the spice of life, especially in a population that is diverse as ours, right? Everyone can fight for their own space here. Everyone can fight for their own niche here, and so I think we're entering a new phase of exploring. All these kinds of diversity niches, right? And then seeing how that would build up later. And I think that is going to be the crucial part. Is one is the election itself. but at the same time, it's going to be the backdoor dealings behind the scenes, uh, horse trading. That is, I feel, is going to be the pivotal deciding factors here. Is that I feel in a way everyone could sort of go out on their own, then come back once the dust settles, see who are the winners, who can work together, and then coalesce into something else. Of course, they all say they don't. Some say they like each other, but they could hate each other the next day. Some say they hate each other, they could like each other the next day. It's not so static, and it's very loyalty based. And I think it'll be very interesting this time around. I think more interesting than the last time around, which we had, which was the COVID sort of election, right? So interesting things, and I definitely want to keep up with what's going on here. And of course, if anyone wants to chip in and give their own analysis, go ahead and put it in the comment section. We'll see. There's just as many like theories and predictions as there are people right now in Sabah. Everyone's very charged for it, and I think we'll see how long that can keep up and sustain that kind of momentum. I think before that, since we are around the corner, Haffiz, when do you think election would happen, or when do you think election should happen? Two different questions, but
let me get my crystal ball here and then predict. I don't know, Adi. I've been expecting it's gonna be next month, September. Which part of September? Maybe second half of September, more likely. So that's my best guess, but I don't know. How about you? You may have more info.
Well, maybe it could be. I mean, well, I think there are two great opportune moments to have it. One is in September because we do have school holidays. I think running from the 13th to 21st of September, school holidays. And I believe in December we also have another set of school holidays, right? And also not mention the Christmas holidays, which a lot of Sabans will come back home to celebrate for. So that would be that would be an opportune time to have everyone here to come and vote. And I think it would happen if that was the case. You would have to dissolve the DUN anytime early September, then move straight into campaigning. But then again, if that was the case, the Sabah has about 60 days to have an election. So if that was the case, to dissolve in September, the latest would be around November. If they want to go all the way to the end and serve the entire term and wait all 60 days to final election, then you are looking to have a dissolution in early November. And then the latest theoretical date you can have an election is in January. So, what do the audience think? When do you want elections to be? Because I think there's so many predictions now, and I think at this point it's more about who wants to have elections when, right? Rather than exactly when is elections going to be. But I think immediate prediction now, maybe September. Maybe. But then again, this is just throwing a guess out in the air. Maybe it could be, maybe it could be not.
Yeah. If there's any special branch watching our episode, please drop some comment and then tell us when is the real date of dissolutions for Sabah DUN Assembly Hall. Before I end this episode, I just want to say very quickly, the last time in 2020, state election of Sabah, I think the only party that went alone on its own was Parti Cinta Sabah to all 73 seats. And they including the founder, did not win any seat. So, will Warisan follow suit if they are going to that same strategy as well?
I see Sabah wants to give us some experience, then please come ahead. We're more than happy to host the president, Tan Sri Anif Aman, on the show.
There you go. It's an open invitation. It's going to be carnage going in forward to election time. If any political party out there, leaders, whatever, drop us a comment, whatever, if you want to be featured on, or you want to come up and say your stuff about your party or whatever, reach out to us. We will be waiting for your message. And with that, goodbye for now. Until next episode.